LAX is the third studio album by American rapper The Game. It was released on August 26, 2008, by Geffen Records. Recording sessions took place from 2007 to 2008, with the production that were contributed by Cool Dre, Kanye West, Scott Storch, Nottz, Hi-Tek, J.R. Rotem and JellyRoll, as well as guest appearances from Chrisette Michele, Common, Ice Cube, Keyshia Cole, Ludacris, Nas, Ne-Yo, Raekwon, Raheem DeVaughn, Travis Barker, Bilal and Lil Wayne. The album was supported by 4 singles: Game's Pain featuring Keyshia Cole, Dope Boys featuring Travis Barker, My Life featuring Lil Wayne, and Camera Phone featuring Ne-Yo. The album was released with 2 different cases, such as one cover art for the deluxe version with Game looking at the camera with his bandana in his hand, and the cover art for another was with him sitting on a couch smoking a blunt. LAX debuted at number 2 on the United States Billboard 200, selling 238,000 copies in its first week, behind metal band Slipknot's All Hope Is Gone. Initially, Billboard magazine published an article stating that The Game had secured the top spot by a margin of 13 copies, in what was described as the closest race for number 1 since SoundScan began tracking data in 1991. However, Slipknot's record labels Warner Music Group and Roadrunner Records requested Nielsen SoundScan to recount the album sale totals for the week. The recount placed LAX at number 2, with final first week sales of 238,382 copies in the United States, and awarded Slipknot's All Hope Is Gone the top spot, with first week sales of 239,516 copies, a margin of 1134 copies in the United States. Upon its release, LAX received generally favorable reviews from most music critics, with music critics praising the album's production. As of September 2011, the album had sold 968,000 copies. Background: after signing a deal to Interscope Records and Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment vanity label, who he's been reaching to the agreement that only happened once. After Interscope Records head Jimmy Iovine was debating on whether to drop this young upstart or keep him, he later convinced 50 Cent to take Game under his wing in his effort to guarantee for record sales. In 2005, The Game released his debut album, The Documentary, which sounded entirely different from his follow-up and his second album that was released only a year later with Doctor's Advocate, where he has been gaining more of his experience when it comes to choice on genres. After 2 albums that were driven him into worshipping to legendary West Coast producer Dre. Plus he would involved into his later feuds with fellow rappers such as 50 Cent and the G-Unit crew. The Game's third effort would be his most important release and the strongest argument. And yet this would just might be the time to move on. On December 31, 2007, at the NA's New Year's Eve party, The Game announced the title and release date for the album. On May 16, 2008, The Game appeared on 106 and Park to announce that his upcoming third album LAX would be his final album, while promoting his record label called The Black Wall Street. However, in an interview, The Game did said that after his third album, he would be releasing his upcoming fourth album, called D.O.C., which is for the abbreviation of Diary of Compton. That it's if he can get some of the production help from Dr. Dre, MC Ren, King T, DJ Yella, Ice Cube and DJ Quick, among others. However, he later did said that D.O.C. album would not be coming out and that his third album LAX would definitely be his final album. recording. On May 11, 2007, The Game was arrested at his home reportedly in connection with an incident that happened at a basketball game in South Los Angeles back in February 2007. He was alleged to threaten a person with a gun. The arrest took place after his home was searched for 3 hours. The Game was released early the next day after posting $50,000 bail. On January 9, 2008, a Los Angeles judge scheduled February 4 as the beginning date for the Game's trial on assault and weapons charges. After pleading no contest to a felony weapons charge on February 11, The Game was sentenced to 60 days in jail, 150 hours of community service, and 3 years of probation. In March 2008, it was reported that The Game had been released from jail. His manager later stated that he has not yet been what you expected to be released in time to promote the album. He was released after serving 8 days, and went back in a studio and began working with the production duo Cool Dre. Dre from Cool Dre stated that The Game was like Pac, and that lyrically, he was somewhere else right now. On July 28, 2008, The Game told J-and-J More of Sunday Night Sound Sessions that the album has been finished, and that the official release date was August 26, 2008. He said that the album would include 16 tracks, and that he would have leaked the clean version for an album 2 weeks before the official release. The Game did mention that he recorded over 220 tracks for the album. In these recording sessions, artists that were being reported would participated for LAX. At first, New Jersey Devil stated that Lil Wayne would be making his guest appearance on the album. It was later confirmed that Akon, Andre 3000, Busta Rhymes, Chris Brown, Chrisette Michele, Common, Ice Cube, Keyshia Cole, DMX, Ludacris, Snoop Dogg, Marsha Ambrosius, Mary J. Blige, Nas, Ne-Yo, Raekwon, Raheem DeVaughn, Fabulous, and Robin Thicke were all be making their appearances. However, all of them did not make the final cut on the album. Although Travis Barker, Bilal, Keyshia Cole, Common, Raheem DeVaughn, DMX, Ice Cube, Lil Wayne, Ludacris, Chrisette Michele, Nas, Ne-Yo, Raekwon, and Latoya Williams were be making for the final album track listing. All of these record producers that have been participating at this album's recording sessions with The Game were JellyRoll, Nottz, DJ Toomp, J.R. Rotem, Scott Storch, Kanye West, 1500 or Nothing, Travis Barker, DJ Quick, Nobody, Dahode Darian, Hi-Tek, Irvin Pope, Cool Dre, Irv Gotti, Trey Beats, and Trackmasters. The Game had announced that Dr. Dre would be producing for the album, but neither Drive, Dre nor Aftermath Entertainment had confirmed their involvement for this album. New Jersey Devil later confirmed that Dr. Dre would be serving as a producer on the album. On May 1, 2008, The Game told Power 106 that he had worked with Just Blaze, Kanye West, Cool Dre, Scott Storch, Timbaland, Nobody, Irvin Pope, JellyRoll and Trey Beats, among others, at a listening party on June 23, 2008. It was mentioned that the production duo Trackmasters would be included for the album release and promotion. The album was pushed back to June 24, in competition for G-Unit's second album. However, it was later changed to July 8, as Interscope Records moved both of these albums. On June 8, 2008, it was announced that LAX has been pushed back for a week to July 15, which happens to be the same release date as NA's untitled album. LAX has been pushed back for another week to July 22, and finally to August 26. On May 1, 2008, the Game told Power 106 that Big Dreams might not be on the album. On August 6, 2008, iTunes revealed some information on the album. It confirmed that DJ Toomp has produced a track called House of Pain that would be released as the fourth single from the album. It also revealed that the standard edition would have 14 tracks with one bonus track, and the deluxe edition would have 18 tracks and one additional bonus track. On August 10, 2008, the Game told Friday Night Flavors that he would be dropping 2 mixtapes, Superman, featuring all original tracks, which did not appear on the album, in a week and a half, and You Know What It Is Volume 5 inches after the album. He also blamed DJ Hayes for the leak of the Just Blaze produced title track Superman promo singles. The first Street single was released on March 18, 2008, Big Dreams, which is produced by Cool Dre. The Game commented on Power 106 that the song would not be released on any specific album, including the upcoming LAX. However, a modified version of the song, with different lyrics in the third verse, was later included on the bonus disc of the deluxe version of the album. Dre, from the production duo Cool and Dre, commented that Big Dreams is one of the most amazing records that I can honestly say that me and Cool have been a part of. Dre continued by stating, Big Dreams is a phenomenal record. It's very inspirational. It's gonna be big in the streets, but it's gonna be big all across the board. I feel like Hate It or Love It was such an inspirational record that a lot of people didn't see coming. And this has the same feel as far as how it makes you feel. But it's gonna inspire the shit out of everybody. It's one of those records. His performance, his delivery, he's lyrically on a level that I can't even compare anyone to. He stepped it up to a notch that's amazing. He definitely has a new passion. And the fucking record is gonna really destroy. Quote, the second Street single was House of Pain, and it was released on August 19, 2008. The single is produced by DJ Toomp. The song, Touchdown, also debuted on the Hot 100 without being released as a single. It charted at number 57 on the Hot R&B, Hip-Hop Songs chart. Singles. The first official single, Game's Pain, featuring Keyshia Cole, was released on April 29, 2008. It charted moderately in the US but was met with critical acclaim of Game's Pain. Keyshia Cole sums up in one sentence what Game has been trying to say the whole album. I just wanna let you know, I'm paying homage, 'cause you've paved the way for me. Game underscores the central themes of hip-hop's history and his deserved place in it, meditating on the struggles he's faced. The second single was Dope Boys, featuring Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker. The video released was deemed to be too edgy to be aired on TV by Bet, but it has been lauded critically as not only one of the best collaborations on L.A.X., but also one of the best songs of Game's career. The third single released was My Life, featuring Lil Wayne. When the song first leaked, many believed the Game was dissing Eminem. However, later on his website, Game denied this, and apologized to anyone who might have misunderstood what he had intended to say. It charted well in the US, reaching a peak of 21 in Billboard Hot 100, and it peaked at 4 for Hot Rap Tracks. The fourth and final single was released featuring Ne-Yo called Camera Phone on January 12, 2009. It was only released in the UK tour on May 21, 2009. The Game announced upcoming tour dates for performances in the United Kingdom for the summer of 2009. The West Coast bred MC made his first United Kingdom appearance since last December 2008. Game returned to the United Kingdom with 3 live dates confirmed across the country. Game assembled a coast-to-coast US trek to support his latest effort, LAX. The club theater outing was scheduled to visit nearly 30 cities, starting with several California performances in mid-February 2009. The tour began on February 18, 2009 and concluding March 29, 2009. Stops included Los Angeles, California, Phoenix, Arizona, Sacramento, California, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Boise, Idaho, Denver, Colorado, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, New Haven, Connecticut, Providence, Rhode Island, Norfolk, Virginia, New York City, New York and more. The following year Game went on the European Club Tour 2010. Commercial performance. The album received favorable reviews from critics. Debuted at number 2 on the US Billboard 200, with approximately 239,000 copies sold, just behind a metal band Slipknot's All Hope Is Gone. The album charted at number 1 on the top R&B, hip-hop albums, and at number 1 on the top rap albums charts. At first it looked like LAX had debuted ahead of All Hope Is Gone by 13 copies. With such a close difference, Slipknot's labels Warner Music Group and Roadrunner Records asked for a SoundScan recount, a historic first. Nielsen proceeded to the recount, which made no changes, and Slipknot in second position with 239,516 copies scanned. Initially, Billboard published an article stating that the game had secured the top spot with a margin of 13 units, in what was described as the closest race for number 1 since SoundScan began tracking data in 1991. Having sold 239,516 units. As of February 2009, the album had sold 660,100 copies in the US. By 2011, LAX had sold 968,000 copies. LAX attained respectable international charting. In Australia, the album entered the Australian Albums Chart at number 12. In Austria, the album entered the Austrian Albums Chart at number 29. In Belgium, the album entered the Belgian Albums Chart at number 22. In Canada, the album entered the Canadian Albums Chart at number 2. In Denmark, the album entered the Danish Album Chart at number 18. In the Netherlands, the album entered the Dutch Albums Chart at number 21. In Europe, the album entered the European Top 100 Albums at number 14. In France, the album entered the French Albums Chart at number 19. In Germany, the album entered the German Albums Chart at number 33. In the Republic of Ireland, the album entered the Irish Albums Chart at number 8. In Italy, the album entered the Italian Albums Chart at number 2. In New Zealand, the album entered the New Zealand Albums Chart at number 11. In Norway, the album entered the Norwegian Albums Chart at number 18. In Sweden, the album entered the Swedish Albums at number 3. In Switzerland, the album entered the Swiss Albums Chart at number 8. And in the United Kingdom, the album entered the UK Albums Chart at number 9. And at number 1 on the UK R&B chart. Critical response. Upon its release, LAX received mostly favorable reviews from music critics. At Metacritic, which assigns a normalized rating out of 100 to reviews from mainstream critics, the album received an average score of 65, based on 20 reviews, which indicates generally favorable reviews. About.com praised songs like Let Us Live as Game puts on his best Nas impersonation as he flows off the beat with intricate and polysyllabic rhymes. AllMusic writer David Jeffries noted, the cuts that truly matter on LAX aren't the ones where the Rappers' hardcore, unswayable definition of loyalty comes into play, but the ones that go outside the usual topics and explore both the profound, the African-American struggle, and, more surprisingly, the profane, rump-shaking. And that, this scattershot album is easy to recommend despite its flaws. USA Today gave the album a perfect score, saying, throughout the game flays rivals and trumpets his own skills and success. He attacks the beats provided by the likes of J.R. Rotem, Kanye West, Cool Dre, Scott Storch, Hi-Tek and DJ Toomp with lyrical ferocity. The A.V. Club noted, only 3 major label albums into his career, the game has already appropriated the angst of rap's most beloved icons, and praised the album's production while stating, the game has always borrowed from the greats. Here, he cannibalizes his own tired shtick so extensively, he lapses even further into self-parody. Quote, The New York Times, which previously said Doctor's Advocate was the best hip-hop album of 2006, gave a mixed review saying that, worse, the game, never a fluid rapper, sounds positively lumpy, as if he were delivering verses while running up a steep flight of stairs, or as if the last few years of pugnacity have finally left him winded. Entertainment Weekly noted, as on his first 2 efforts, he spends L.A.X. barking gleefully ignorant gangster fantasies over hard-knocking drums. And while the 19-track disc could use a good trimming, the game's routine is just as entertaining the third time around. The Guardian's Angus Beatty stated, LAX is an intense and remarkably focused record. Almost every syllable concerns Compton, gangster rap and, as one song title has it, Pitchfork Media stated that, he's won round 3 by making his 3rd straight album that's better than it has any right to be. But the fact that the game can make perfectly uncompelling competence sound like victory is proof that he's a master thespian of hip-hop theater. Jordan Sargent of Pop Matters complimented the game, stating that, on LAX, game hasn't changed, but he's picked a group of beats that get to him closer to extricating himself from both his West Coast Messiah complex and the post-G-Unit narrative. And while Game has yet to carve out his own identity as a rap artist, LAX shows that, on his 3rd album, he might be on the right track. Quote, The Village Voice commented that, Taylor's best assets remain his compellingly ruined wheeze of a voice, relentless delivery, and uncanny ear for beats, and that, somehow, the game is still coasting on wispy West Coast nostalgia fumes, Chronic, Red Rags, Lawless, etc. But the goodwill, at this point, has pretty much exhausted itself. Sputnik Music's Tyler Munro noted it as a solid hip-hop, but excessive to a fault. Too many guests, too many shifts in style and theme. Slant Magazine's Wilson McBee viewed it as the game's best album, stating, with the game's 3rd and best album, LAX, which dropped without the baggage of a high-profile beef. We learn more about who the rapper really is. A guy who loves hip-hop, from top to bottom, and is as comfortable giving shout-outs to Will Smith and Uncle Luke as he is to Wu-Tang and N.W.A., and listening to LAX is like witnessing the creation of a mural of hip-hop's history in which the artist paints himself hiding among the famous faces. Quote, Despite favorable reviews by critics and audiences, Game was critical about his album and says, If I had a choice, I would say fuck L.A.X. and R.E.D. because I was kind of lost in trying to re-find the love for hip-hop. He also doesn't feel the album was perfect by his standards compared to his previous album. Track listing. Sample credits. My Life contains a samples of So Tired, performed by Birdman featuring Lil Wayne. and Phone Home, performed by Lil Wayne. It also contains the inclusion of the re-sung of and elements of My Life, performed by JJ. Money contains samples of She Works Hard for the Money, performed by Donna Summer. Cali Sunshine contains samples of California Sunshine, performed by The Dramatics. Ya Heard contains samples of Jam on It, performed by Nucleus. House of Pain contains samples of Real Niggas Don't Die, performed by N.W.A. Touchdown contains samples of Right On for the Darkness, performed by Curtis Mayfield. Angel contains samples of Angel Dust, performed by Gil Scott-Heron and Brian Jackson. Dope Boys contains samples of Eleanor Rigby, performed by the Beatles. Games Pain contains samples of C.R.E.A.M. performed by Wu-Tang Clan. Letter to the King contains samples of Memoirs of the Traveler, performed by the Jaggers. Personnel credits for LAX adapted from AllMusic. DMX guest appearance. Jeff Gibbs engineer all tracks. Charts. References. External links. LAX at Discogs. LAX at Metacritic.